Live from the studio complex in Baltimore, Maryland, you're listening to InfoWarlocks with Sam Kelly. There's a war on for your magic.
What's up, motherfuckers? We are at war. There's a spiritual warfare going on. But we are spiritual warriors. I'm Sam Kelly. This is Jimmy Zaleski. We got Jordan Levine. We got Eric Glaeser. And we got Liz Norman in the house. The gender fluids are turning us trans-dimensional.
Five microphones.
Happy Pride.
Yes, Pride. Hell yeah.
Yeah, you guys all kind of did wear kind of like, cool shirts.
Yeah.
I went with my finest plain gray.
Great.
The color of straight people.
True neutral.
Got all these leaves on the sides, though.
I do have the. Oh shit! I forgot about the sides.
Right.
I always forget about the sides of my shirts.
Exactly.
I'm trying to get into more of my high priestess energy, more of my receptive energy. I'm trying not to. So I'm just gonna let the conversation flow and maybe just like ref it.
Mm-hmm. That's an awesome tactic as a host of a show. Go.
So you guys go do your thing.
All right, start talking, everybody. I'll sit back, kick my feet up, and enjoy. So what's the show again?
Well, yeah. This is InfoWarlocks, and it's funny because warlock actually means oathbreaker, and in the process of my own spiritual ascension, you started talking about the moon. I would love to hear your guys' opinions about the moon.
Yes.
I think the moon is a false matrix that's been imprisoning women for finding our
okay.
That's an interesting.
You had me in the first half. I'm not gonna lie. It's like,
Yeah.
Yes, girl. The moon exists.
Jimmy, the last time I was here in a podcast, I feel like the last time I remember it was like you and Dom coming in and being like, I haven't seen the moon in months, dude. It's fucking gone. And we were like, it's right there.
Well,
And then you just found out that your apartment doesn't face where the moon is.
well. To be fair, I hadn't seen the moon.
I mean, I wasn't
quite
trying to
some time.
invalidate your experience, but your conclusion that therefore the moon didn't exist anymore was the part that was wrong.
I have since found.
I have since.
Oh, get up a little bit on the mic.
I've
Oh,
since
sorry.
found that
I
the
can leave it
moon
to you
is
if you wanna
real.
chill back too.
No, I'll just hold on.
And
to
they're
my
trapping. What are they trapping in the moon?
women.
Women.
Women trapped in the moon.
Is that for pride or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I personally,
The
I'm
NASA
really.
gays
I
shoved
guess
all
I'm.
the women into a spaceship, sent them to the moon.
I guess I'm being trapped. I really like the moon.
Yeah,
I'm really
it is
into
awesome.
the moon. My personal thing is that I am like, I don't really think that any of the retrogrades are real because they're kind of based on just like bad astronomical science
Right.
and math of being like, we can't figure out if everything is going around the earth, why does stuff get small sometimes? It must go backwards, which isn't the case. However, the moon is very powerful. And I think
It is.
has a literal physical effect on
You know what?
life on Earth.
Yeah,
So
yeah. And
I'm like
What
big into the
yeah.
moon.
it's
Yeah.
also an alien lunar penal colony. I'm just totally
for sure.
Also, I've just been getting outside for
finale?
15 minutes a day in the sun, so I feel like it's like this huge, like mystical, magical thing when it's just like me getting like 15 minutes of vitamin D.
You look a little burnt.
Yeah.
You look like you got a little sunburn.
got
Moonburn. Yeah.
Yeah. But
What's
no,
the difference between a penile colony and a nudist colony?
Penal means
Is that only
like,
dicks? Only penises?
One you're happy to go to.
Yeah.
The other one not so much.
Yeah.
It's like a jail.
A penile colony's a jail?
Yeah. A penile colony.
Oh my god.
I
That sounds so
had
fun
the
though.
I know. I had the same misunderstanding because, like with the Birdman of Alcatraz, he like published a bunch of things on the penal system, and
I guess that is
that.
I forgot
Yeah.
about that.
So it's like he was writing about what it's like to be in jail and stuff. But as a child, I was also like, he's just writing about penises all day. Like, he's writing about nothing but dicks. I guess he's got
There's
enough
a
time to
system?
study them. Like he's in this jail.
Wow.
But yeah.
That was me this past weekend because my kids are trying to potty train and they are just like literally just like pissing on everything. And finally, I just let them be little wild fairy children, and I'm just
Like when you watched the movie The
Yeah.
Pianist, you were like,
Yeah.
what is this about? Why is he
so
not in jail?
This monster.
What really turned me on to the moon was that actually I didn't realize that a month is I never pieced these things together because like everybody knows the day is one rotation of the earth on its axis. A year is one revolution around the sun, but a month is one of the, or roughly, not exactly.
Yeah, it's a woman's
But
period.
a month is one revolution or one something of the moon around the earth.
Yeah.
Never realized that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why the Jewish people used to track with the moon,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
You
and
know?
the Islamic calendar is also a moon-based calendar.
Oh,
too.
was it racist for me to be then the moon is a false matrix then
No,
imprisoning
I don't
us in
think-
dark energy?
I mean, look,
Well, it was
I think that's
okay.
I
It was
think that's a
okay when it was
whole
Jewish
other
people,
thing.
but now
Yeah.
Muslim people.
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I think that's just
Cool
like
on the Islam.
a whole other thing. But
We don't want to get Charlie Hebdo.
Well, all I'm saying is just like
Yeah.
I used to work with a lot of lunar or moon type of entities, and I kind of feel like, and again, just like staying up all night, just like doing wild shit, just like writing all night. Then now that I'm trying to become more in tune with the sun, with the solar energy within my own being, like it's just making life a little brighter. And there were a lot of solar goddesses apparently. And
yeah.
ancient times, like it wasn't just Jesus.
Probably more sun gods than moon gods. The moon only.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, it's just fun to say the word moon god. I don't know.
Yeah. I like it. The moon is one another fun moon fact since we're talking about the moon.
Sure.
The phrase the dark side. I'm saying a bunch of stuff that I feel like you guys already know, but for the listeners.
We're grokking it. We're
Listeners,
grokking it.
yeah.
The moon's front facing to us is basically imagine like a tetherball on a rope, like the gravitation of the pull of the earth pulls on the front side of the moon, so when it revolves around us, it's always the front is always
The
facing
same
us.
side is always
Yeah,
facing
so the
us,
dark
yeah.
side of the moon is a real thing. We never see the other side of the moon.
Yeah,
It's
what's
always
going on
facing
there?
it.
Yeah. Well,
Convenient if you ask me.
the like pattern of like craters in the moon that you can see on the side that's facing us, like the name for them is mare, which is like the seas, because when people were looking at it, some people a long time ago were like, oh, those dark spots must be like oceans on the moon. But in different cultures too, there's also like a lot of mythology that there's a rabbit on the moon.
Yes.
And I really like
That's what I
that. We just did a lot of celebrating for Lunar New Year at the museum that I work in, and learning about a lot of the different myths with the rabbit in the moon. And I like that a lot. And
Badass.
if I don't wear my glasses and I look at the moon, I am like, oh, I can see it.
Yeah.
I totally see the rabbit up there. Hell yeah.
Hell yes.
I never got the man on the moon thing. They always say it's like if you look like that's the whole thing, right?
Yeah, it looks
You know?
That's
way
just
more like a
patriarchy.
rabbit. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely
It's more like a rabbit.
Yeah, for sure.
That's odd. Then I just like I didn't get a chance to look at the pictures in the Groctus podcast when Liz was a guest, but I mean just like listening to the amount of the collection that you have at the museum that you work at, I mean it gave me chills. Like
It's a lot of stuff.
yeah.
At the BMI,
No.
Okay, I was
at the
gonna
other
say.
place
Yeah.
that I work that I don't want to name.
Yeah.
the industry is on the moon.
And again, I just think a lot of people think I'm blowing smoke up people's, but I'm not. Like, I genuinely love to think about people like in a magical kind of way. It's just like, to think of you like museum, like curator by day.
Oh,
like
I am not
stand-up
a curator, but thank you.
It's just
I would
awesome,
need like 10 more years of
yeah.
school to do that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I appreciate it and I like the energy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's like really like super like mysterious to kind of like think that like you're, and then like you're at, and then at night like you're a stand-up comic, like yeah.
It's like night at the museum.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So like the mirrors that you said are there, are
Yeah.
like hidden or
Well, we've got them on display. We've got a number of them on display, but most of them like don't reflect anymore because they're so old that like the metal has oxidized. So it's like kind of clouded what was previously a super shiny and reflective surface.
Wow, I didn't know mirrors could expire. I'm gonna check the back of my mirror.
Right.
Check the
Well,
expiration date.
mirrors now are made in a different process. So like they're glass with like some kind of metal painted behind that creates that reflective
Okay.
thing. So that is less likely to degrade over time. But some of them do. If your mirror was like 200 years old, it might not look as good as it does now. But these mirrors were made out of like bronze and copper. and in like ancient Greece and also
Greece.
ancient China. In a couple of different places, they were doing that and just polishing it super much. So it would be like more like looking at yourself on the back of a spoon. You know what I mean? So it's still reflective, but it's not quite the same level of sharpness.
Some funhouse shit.
It is. It really is. It is fascinating how much because we always do think about the sun and how the seasons and stuff. But it is amazing that the tides and of course the menstrual cycle like that does blow my mind. We've talked about that. I cannot.
Me and Jimmy talk about periods all the time.
all the time. Every fourth episode, we both come in.
That shit's crazy.
Yeah. That should be like I saw something that should be like the new astrology sign for chicks is just like what? It's like I'm like a new moon period girl now. I used to be full moon, but I guess since,
You can change that too.
I don't know. I guess the environment around you changes it.
You're looking at me being like, I don't know, you tell me, babe.
It's a good thing I'm not a chick because with my apartment not being able to see the moon, dude, I'd be all fucked. My period would be all fucked up, dude.
Oh my God.
Well, you would sync. You and Dom would sync.
Yeah.
That's what would happen.
Can we pull up like the alien video soon? Or,
Yeah,
like,
sure. Let's pull it up.
Yeah.
Let's pretend that I already put this in.
Yeah.
But I absolutely love your brother, by the way, Eric, like, and your co-host, Jordan.
Yeah, Alex is a real sweetie.
Like I listened to like you guys, and I'm just like, wow, like what was it like to have like parents who loved you and like,
It was nice.
Shit like us.
And when he
That's
said that,
pretty
like
good.
your mom came up with like a safe word for him, but just like to feel safe, like anxiety, like going out, like you mentioned that on the podcast. I was like, I need to do that, like with my kids if they're in a situation where it's like, let's get the fuck out of here, mom. Like the mom safe word or.
I feel like I like half remember that. I don't know if I remember that growing up.
The safe word?
Yeah, I don't know if I had a safe word with my parents.
It's certainly not something you want to brag about.
Yeah.
The only word that isn't safe to say around me, boys, is the N word.
That's true. That's true. UFO mystery in Vegas.
Is this
Question mark?
Is this the body cam
Question
one where like the cop sees the UFO
I
fly in
haven't
the body
watched it,
cam?
but I think so. I think this could be it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Give me a little bit more banter. I'll pull it up.
Yeah, so I saw this video on Twitter, but I don't know if I saw the humanoid beings that Sam was talking about pre-pod.
nice. Jordan, do you believe that aliens are more interdimensional, or do you believe that they're more like 3D forms, the tangible that you could see, like
it's hard to tell.
as a psychonaut?
It's hard to tell. That's very safe.
Having only ever seen them in 2D on my computer screen, it's hard to tell.
It is. We speak for everyone when we say it's hard to tell. These aliens these days.
Yeah, I haven't gotten up close enough to really be able to tell if it was like, can I walk around in 3 dimensions, or is it like?
I like to do my own research.
Is this why you're getting the new Apple VR just so you can see the aliens in 3D, right?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
All right. Well, glad we got that because after we watch this video, it will no longer be hard to tell. This is clear and concise evidence.
Yes. And yet I have no spoiler alert. I haven't seen this first time.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yes, I love this.
Perfect.
Starts off with the X. Sorry, I swapped.
A family in Las Vegas insisting something is out there.
Nah,
They're
bro.
allegedly having a close encounter of the third kind.
Is that real footage?
Not a joke.
One witness calling 911 after they say an object fell out of the sky and landed in their backyard.
Yeah,
They're
so
like
this is the
9
one
foot,
I saw.
10 foot tall. They look like aliens
It's like
to us.
cop
Big eyes. They
body
have big
cam,
eyes.
car
Mysterious
cam
object that
footage.
fell from the sky. Even the officers apparently saw that. The green glow of the alleged UFO is
Yes,
seen on newly
bitches! You
released
said the
body
sun
camera
was
footage.
green in the
Butterflies, bro.
That's true.
Everyone thought a shooting star. Then these people say there's aliens in their backyard.
So when that 911 call came in, less than an hour later, police were ready to believe it.
It was like a big creature.
A big creature?
Yeah, like the one
And
that
it's
he saw.
always
Because I'm not going to
my
BS you
people.
guys. One of my partners said they saw something fall out of the
He's-
sky too, so that's why I'm kind of curious. Did you see anything land in your backyard? Or?
But after a brief investigation of the yard, officers closed the case.
Is he
as
putting a key
unfounded.
fob out there?
If those 9-foot beings come back, don't call us, all right? Deal with it yourself.
What?
I ain't dealing with that.
Yeah, that's some
Intelligence Officer
classic
David
cop
Grush,
shit.
alien
Absolutely.
crash landing
dude.
isn't too
What'd they say? I don't
far-fetched.
have headphones.
Grush recently turned over documents to Congress claiming the U.S. government has a vast collection of vehicles that have non-human
Are cops not aware that aliens are minorities? You'd think they'd be more excited.
Exactly, yes. It's Project Bluebeam.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC
You're right.
News YouTube channel.
So what do you guys think?
I mean, what else? What more proof do you need?
Right.
You know?
They're like, don't call us.
Yeah, deal with it yourself.
Yeah, I don't know, dude.
I think it's fascinating that they were green because Elizabeth's saying that scientists are now proving that the light from the sun is.
Like, if you could see the sun, it would be green.
Yeah.
Huh.
And that's also the color of the heart chakra of Archangel Raphael.
So they were postulating that green light in the sky was, I guess, a flying saucer. Are we still in flying saucer era? Or we have like new
that
UFOs
looked
now?
to me like someone was having fun in their house, being like dangle, 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 like
Wow.
flipping a little saucer around. I don't know if I feel like super convinced that that's like genuine footage, but that's
Right, right.
Vegas makes sense. I could see an alien wanting to go to Vegas.
Oh, yeah. There's so many attractions in Vegas. Like, it's
Yeah,
a one-stop destination.
Yeah, dude. Get everything you need out of the way. I thought that we were going to get a glimpse of these 9-foot beings. Instead, we got a glimpse of what appeared to be 6-foot beings talking about 9-foot beings, which next best thing, I guess.
Right. I thought I sent a video of them like saying that there were 10. Again, I did not watch if there was actual proof. It probably wasn't. It was probably just probably weren't actual 10-foot beings.
It is a shame that whenever these things happen, it always seems like the most unreliable people are the ones.
Well, and that's part of the whole thing, right? Is that they're
Yes.
like doing all this to test that, and with the government too.
Yeah.
They're all being like, they're all being like, oh, these people are crazy. These people are poor, so you shouldn't listen to them either. It's a lot of work to make sure that there's a reason to doubt people.
Controlled disinformation.
Yeah.
They're
and
putting
that's
out
mixing some of the real information with a bunch of junk information, so that when you say it, you sound crazy.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, that's garbage. And that
But then you got that guy that was on the Rogan Experience that was like worked somewhere that was seemed reliable, and he was talking about UFOs, and that guy was he didn't, he was,
Bob Lazar.
Bob Lazar.
Yes. Yeah.
That's a guy you could listen to.
Yeah. And then, but even people say, like, maybe he's, like, kind of misinformation or something. Because there was a whole scandal with him where they were like, oh, he was caught with 3 hookers and all this money and drugs and stuff.
Ipso facto.
They were 10-foot hookers. That's what the cops didn't put out.
And also, if you literally legitimately got abducted by aliens, got probed, if it traumatized you for life, don't you deserve some hookers and cocaine as like a as a backup, as a freebie?
Absolutely.
As kind of a government food stamp, like
Some people pay for that treatment on planet Earth, dude.
Yeah.
You're getting intergalactical probes going on.
But yeah, he had like a wholesome kind of like Utah-ish type of accent, or he was like, then they came and got me, or
That's a weak way to discredit somebody, though. It's like, okay, so he bangs hookers, and that means that he didn't see aliens.
At different points in time, that would have totally just worked, though.
You know, that's
like
how
the
they
way
used to
that
tank
people,
presidential campaigns.
Yeah, well, or even just like the degree, if you remember how mad people got about Michael Phelps smoking weed,
right?
It has worked before, and it'll work again. And now we're in a place where we're like, that's actually not a big deal.
People believed it. They were like, I guess he didn't win those golds.
Yeah, they were like, I guess this all means nothing.
When if anything, being stoned and swimming like that makes you even more fucking superhuman as an athlete.
Yeah.
Or he's, I don't know.
Also, like, maybe people need
Maybe he was just taking a break from swimming too and hanging out.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's definitely a bunch of things where people were like, yeah, that'll totally just tank your career or your credibility or other stuff.
Public
that are
opinion,
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's kind of just why I like meeting based people who aren't necessarily as fucking far gone as I am among the tinfoil hat people, but who are like open to the fact that, like, with a healthy degree of skepticism, but they're just like, you know what, something else is out there. We don't know what it is yet. We don't know if it can be scientifically explained, but there's a higher purpose in this. Like,
I think the other thing that people always assume is that aliens are going, it's kind of like a race to see who discovers who first, because if we discover aliens first, then that makes us smarter. Like, I think the whole thing with Christianity and why a lot of Christians don't believe in aliens or whatever, I think it's because in like the Christian belief, or even just Judeo, whatever, all that stuff, like humans were made in God's image, and so like we have to be the most important. And if it comes out that like there's some aliens that are like way smarter than us and make us like we're like comparatively like an ant compared to their intelligence, then that kind of makes like all that shit wrong. But if we were to find aliens on Mars that was like some like weird like fish, it's like, okay, dude, great, you found another stupid animal on Mars. Like we still are the best. You know, Christians should be able to go along with the idea that there is life on other planets.
Yeah. What image do you think aliens were made in?
Right. And then does that imply the existence of other gods, of other,
Ooh.
like, yeah.
yeah.
If we are made in our God's image,
Yeah.
are they made in their God's image?
That's why I can't get too far into the Christian thing, because I need to have a religion that allows for aliens.
Yeah, I think there's like a certain level of like pretty intense biblical literalism that does hamper the imagination at a certain point. Where you're like, I straight up have met people who are like, dinosaurs didn't exist because that's not in the Bible, and those bones were put here to test us. Like, so you can imagine that level of inflexibility is also going to carry into. And then that's why you have
that
Galileo.
Spaceship, that was actually the Holy Spirit.
Actually,
but you've also got like, that's why Galileo got like imprisoned for the last half of his life, because he was like, no, a bunch of other people also agree that the Earth is not the center of our solar system, and they were like, fuck you, dude.
Fuck you.
You're fuck you. And you know what they have? There's a museum in Italy too, and all they have is it's not all they have. They've got a big collection, but one of the things that they have there is Galileo's mummified middle finger.
Yes, that's fucking awesome.
Cool.
Fuck yeah.
You're like, hell yeah. You got it right down to the wrist, so it's just super long.
Is that how it but don't Italians, wasn't this their thing?
Yeah, they've got other ways of biting their thumbs at people and things like that.
Or mummified thumb. I don't feel like the middle finger was them.
I don't know why that's what they have, but that's what they've got. It's just straight up his like mummified middle finger. Yeah.
They like to save body parts sometimes. They're like, this person was so important, we gotta keep
well,
something.
that's like Catholics have, just like every church is supposed to have a chunk of a saint in it.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, Nepalese people, they actually wear their umbilical cord encrusted in gold as a necklace.
Nice. Hell yeah.
If you talk to a Nepalese guy, we should have asked that guy at the Crystal Convention. Let me see your cord, bro. And it's just like a little thing that they wear like a cross.
Hell yeah, like a chain. Like, yes.
I mean, remember where you came from.
I mean, that's a cool one. That's probably the coolest necklace lore of all the ones.
Fuck, I wonder what happened to mine, like with my kids. It's like,
what do they do if you don't make it into a necklace?
I mean, like, some people try to
Made
get
adrenochrome.
the blood out of it. Yeah, well, because there is like
stem cells.
Stem cells.
And stuff.
Yeah,
trying to save that.
Like, that's the part that I can't, where I'm like I cannot make up my mind, like, is it stem cells that helps like humanity research, or is it like adrenochrome to give Kim Kardashian vampire facials? It's like
all of the above.
Yeah,
baby.
yeah. It's like everything. Like,
I think most of the time they just throw it in the trash, though.
Yeah.
Really?
I think they just dump it in the
So we're
trash.
recycling bottles, but we're not recycling umbilical cords?
Yeah.
That is a waste.
So I guess we should talk about the Groktis podcast, like our sister brother podcast. I mean, I'm kind of we're combining podcast universes, multiverses.
Yes, multiverses.
Yeah, this is like the Avengers of
right, and LPS. Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed you guys started about like 10 weeks ago or something like that. You're about 10 episodes in.
Yeah.
And I guess it's kind of like parallel. Like you guys had started. I don't think I noticed it necessarily when me and Alex started the podcast. So it's kind of like
hell yeah,
similar timing, or maybe I did, but I wasn't like copying you or anything.
Oh no, it's fucking. And see, that's the thing about I've been doing a lot of shrooms lately, and it's like the spores and everything, and about how like everything is one and interconnected and interdimensional. And I used to come from this place of just like but now I am feeling the power of the all of one. Like, and it's not about money, it's about getting a message
about mushrooms.
out there. Yes.
It's about shrooms.
It's just that you and Jordan ate mushrooms around the same time, and those spores,
yes,
the spores gave you the same idea.
The mycelium, you guys walk around with this fucking weird fungus roots connecting.
Always connecting, like
Absolutely.
Avatar.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. And no, and I and that's like another thing just to talk about is just like that there's proof that like the alien DNA is in spores.
How do they know that?
Is it like a way of
What
like
proof? Where's the what's the source on this?
How do they know that?
I thought I read that somewhere. I heard that on Joe Rogan somewhere.
Just
that's
brush
my
past
source.
that.
But, yeah.
If they have alien DNA, then aliens exist.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
a done deal.
This is like it reminds me a little bit too of like what we've talked about we got really into watching Ghost Adventures.
Fuck yeah.
And you're like, yeah, it's every episode they're trying to prove once and for all whether or not ghosts exist, and there are 9 seasons.
That's basically what this podcast is.
And the next one is gonna be the one
That's it,
where we
baby.
prove it. 9 seasons, 4 spin-offs.
Yes.
Never in a single episode have they been able to nail it down. But that's not the point. The point is you keep trying, dude.
Exactly.
You gotta keep trying.
Yes.
You gotta keep trying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like one of my friends told me where she wasn't trying to be, but she was just like, man, a lot of people when they discover magic, when they discover spirituality, they think life is like supernatural, where it's just like you're on the road with your bro, just like hunting demons and listening to classic rock and shit.
Yeah.
It's like the life isn't like that, and I'm like, why can't it be? Like,
But that sounds cool.
yeah,
But I like that.
yeah.
Listening to Pink
It
Floyd.
kind of sounds like supernatural.
Yeah. And it's like, it's hard when you're a mom on welfare, but I only have them every other weekend, so fuck it.
Yeah, more time to listen to classic rock.
Classic rock.
Get out of here, kids. I'm listening to The Bay. 100.7.
Yeah.
Are you on a road trip and or ghost hunting?
Yes.
Well, and that's there's something there to being also like it doesn't need to be like a TV show.
Yeah,
to
right,
also
right.
still find meaning in
Exactly.
seeking something outside of an everyday experience and believing that there are other. I mean, hopefully it's not a thing that's going to like just send you in. There's different directions that things could go, right? You could also get sent into a pretty dark spiral. But if it's a thing that's like helping you to be like, this life is worth like living and surviving and investigating and like finding
Right,
things
it's
that
not
make
about
you want to
investigating the
keep
ghosts.
going.
Right.
It's
It's
then
investigating
it's finding
myself.
a purpose. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's a very valuable thing that
Fuck yeah.
I think this type of thing can bring. But,
In
Right.
mushrooms' defense,
yeah.
so like
Dang, you're playing devil's advocate.
Yeah. Oh, I am.
I'm playing devil's advocate by gonna say something that we all agree about.
Mushrooms, I believe, were the first form of life on the or not mushrooms specifically, but fungi.
Yeah.
Fungi.
Did you watch that one documentary where they were talking about like the ancient giant mushrooms?
Yeah, they were like
Yeah,
trees.
We watched that. We watched that one at my grandma's.
And so basically, they were able to. They're what created soil because like they were able to actually just digest the rocks, which then created soil, which then created a place for plants to emerge. And so it's really fungus. I hate when there's a word with a plural that sucks.
Fungi.
Fungi, and some people say fungi. I feel like that's a conspiracy too. Because like
That's
fungus,
some kind of a psyop.
it's like they always
nuts.
they make you not want to talk about it. They're like, you won't even want to talk about fungus in the
that
plural.
is the worst. Is when it's like something where you're like, this is really really cool, but the people that are experts on it,
Yeah.
just say it weird, and
They
now I
say
don't
it
want to.
weird.
Now now I don't want to participate.
Yeah.
Like,
It sucks.
That documentary on Netflix, it seemed really interesting, but it was so much of them just talking like, ooh, look at these fungi.
There was so much saying fungi. And you're like, you know what? I'm watching something.
yeah.
But
My
that is
octopi
fascinating.
teacher.
yeah.
Yes.
But they made the life on Earth as we know it possible.
Yeah.
And that's fascinating to me. It's like the forbidden fruit from like the Eve and then the document, not the documentary, the mythology of Persephone.
The documentary I saw about Adam and Eve.
Video proof.
Yeah.
The fungus.
The body cam footage I saw of the Garden of Eden was pretty nuts.
Yeah. Who would the cop be in the Garden of Eden? Even the snake? Is that the cop?
Oh, definitely.
Honestly,
dude.
God.
God is the
like,
cop.
get out of here.
Eating
Get
the
the
apple.
fuck outta here.
Eating the apple was entrapment.
Yeah,
That was the first case of entrapment.
Yeah. It was a setup.
So God was actually the CIA.
Are you the devil? You got to tell me if you're the devil. You got to tell me if you're the devil.
Oh my God.
yeah, but like, and then with the Hades and Persephone, like that's what
Yes.
trapped Persephone in the underworld was taking the pomegranate, and then all the myths about like the Fae people keeping you trapped.
Yeah.
If you take whatever the Fae offer you, you're trapped in the other world. It's interesting, and I don't know if there's a link there between psychedelics and our awakening.
You can tell how that story has been fit into every culture because of course the Greeks equivalent story that has to be a pomegranate. We couldn't just do the apple.
You guys didn't have apples.
We had to do the pomegranate.
apples, but there's also like the golden apples.
Right, of chaos. Yeah.
So like there are apples around, but they were like, no.
Yeah. We want to pick the most difficult fruit.
Yeah. That's the other thing too, where she was also like, and I'll just have 6 or 3. I'm not even hungry. I just want 3 or 6 pomegranate seeds, and then I'll be good. And
Yes.
so they were like, gotcha, bitch.
Gotcha.
Now you gotta spend half the year with me, and your mom's gonna be upset.
Yeah.
Your mom's gonna fucking hate this.
Weird
and punish
deals back
everyone.
then.
Yeah, a lot of weird deals.
Weird
Not a
deals.
good deal.
Nobody
Not a great
understood the
deal.
process of negotiation back then. They're
No.
like, all right, I'll make you a deal. You can have 3 pomegranate seeds, but you got to live with me 6 months every year. And you're like, this is a terrible
Fine,
deal.
but I'm gonna be pissed about it the whole time.
Like, don't you know how to talk somebody down? 4 months. I'll settle for 4 months.
Listen, we'll go a seed a month. And just choose your own adventure.
Yes, this is why I want to do like mythology improv, but
Yeah.
I'm really bad at improv.
Mythology already was improv.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zeus
and
fucked
that's-
a horse, a
Deer?
goat, yeah,
deer.
Swan? No, he was the swan.
yes.
Yeah,
Weird
we
animal
do have
to
a
choose to be.
sarcophagus at the museum that is like the story of Persephone.
What?
In it that like it's really cool to see too because it's from like 1st century BC around there, and it's got
fuck?
like it's almost like a comic book because you can see the same
Yes!
characters like moving through the scene, and then you're like, here she is with her flowers, and then the flower jar got knocked over and she's
Yeah.
being taken away.
And if you run really
yeah.
fast by it, it's like a cartoon.
Right, yeah. It's
It's the original.
Yeah,
That's how
yeah.
they did it back then.
yeah, there's not enough
Fucking
like
awesome.
like track to really get the speed you'd need, but otherwise it's good.
How does Baltimore
Yeah.
like acquire something like that? Like, is
yeah.
it like, okay, yeah, we'll talk about that later.
That's a good question. And here's
A
Yeah.
while ago,
the
someone
answer.
stole it.
We don't know that, but you can't do stuff like that anymore.
Yeah.
It's a much more difficult process to
Right.
get stuff. So most of the things like the sarcophagi and a lot of the other ancient things that are, in the museum were purchased in like 1902, and they were actually purchased from like a Vatican priest who just for some reason had all of these antiquities. And they
This
just
would make a dope movie.
They
Sorry, I
bought
keep
his
thinking of it.
house, and they were like, "I'm buying the house. I'm buying everything inside it, and I'm shipping it to Baltimore."
Yeah.
And they were like, "Okay."
Like how a guy leaves like a power drill in his garage when you buy his house. He's
Right.
like, I got some sarcophaguses down
Well,
there.
they bought it because they wanted the stuff in there, and they were like, "Yeah, this will be fine." But yeah, you can't get that much stuff out of a country, especially stuff that's that old.
Again,
Like,
'cause we've
they
gotten
made
better with
new
deals.
laws.
Yeah.
Yeah, they made new laws, and they were like,
The art of the
"We've been
deal."
getting some really bum deals for quite a while." So
Louisiana
since the
Purchase?
1970s,
Come on.
yeah.
Terrible deal.
And with inflation,
the
the way
state
it
of
is,
New
you just
York,
couldn't do
bad
the same
deal.
thing.
Bad deal.
Yeah. So
I saw that King Ramsey needed a picture ID to get like shipped from one place to another. Needed his own passport.
I saw like I don't know if you guys started talking about it the last, but there's a lot of like creepy things in Baltimore, and they're like the pictures of like the Anunnaki statues. Like,
oh yeah.
Like
So
what
we've
the hell is
got-
that doing by the Inner Harbor? Like,
Yeah. And I don't know, because I know that I knew something about it at one point. I was talking to Jordan about that too. I know I knew something about it at one point because my friend who used to work at the Walters like knew more of the story and was like, "Yeah, isn't this so random and funny?" And I can't remember what the connection was, but yeah, it's like a really close copy to a piece that we have at the museum that is a winged genius from Assyria.
A winged genius?
That's what they're called, yeah.
whoa!
And so it's like the plural is genie, right? So it's like that kind of gets into those things, but it's like a spirit that is, very powerful. It's
I
a
never knew that
protector
genie
spirit.
came from genius. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
How did that wind up being a thing? They're like, yeah, this guy's really smart, and if you get more than one of them, you get 3 wishes.
Right, yeah. That's a good question, and I'd have to look into it, but yeah.
That is such a strange etymology
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
word.
Also, hey, what if a magic lamp was really the original UFO?
And also, what if a lamp?
And genies came out of them.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they
Also-
were winged creatures, and they knew a lot of
You're
stuff.
just-
And they
What if-
granted wishes.
What if the lamp wasn't a lamp? It was just like one of those things that you pour something out. I feel like the lamp in every movie, it's like you would think like a magic like lamp. And it's not ever a lamp. It's like
Right,
a
right.
it's like
Yeah, it
a
looks like a
flower
tea
pot.
kettle.
Yeah.
Well, because it's an
This
oil
isn't a
lamp.
lamp.
That's what lamps looked like.
Oh.
That's how lamps worked. That's what
And maybe
that's a
the
lamp.
first wish was like, can we make lamps look more correct? And then the genie was like,
And
boom,
they were like,
done.
I just invented electricity and bulbs. And it's like, okay, well, expand your mind.
Yeah. And now he just comes out of a regular lamp, which is way less cool.
Now they just
Yeah.
come out of candles.
Yeah.
Yeah, be careful what you wish for, because sometimes it looks dumb.
Yeah. A lot of things did look cooler back then.
Yeah.
Cars looked better back then.
Yeah, actually,
back in
Ancient Egypt. When they were just a guy carrying 2 sticks and running you around on the sand. Way cooler.
like, why is it that like a bunch of like old dudes who can't even like get it up anymore always have like the coolest cars? Like that's one thing that Glendurney is known for. Like I always see
Glendurney.
like the hottest fucking cars that are from like 1920 something. And
There's a lot of car
Glendurney is,
dealerships
like-
in
I mean, a
England.
lot of
I
them
mean-
probably just had those cars back then.
They're
Yeah.
so old that that's their car. Or again, it just wraps into everyone's trying to find meaning. Like everyone is searching for something that's going to make them go, hell yeah,
Exactly.
let's keep going
Yeah.
another
Yeah.
day.
They listen to classic rock as well.
And that sometimes is
Yeah.
a sick whip.
Probably also just
Yeah.
reminds them of their youth. Like,
Totally.
That was probably the hot car when they were a kid, and they're like, finally,
Yeah, the Model T.
I can afford it.
The Model T.
My dick doesn't work, but my Model T does.
It also goes along with my theory that if you just hold on, if you hang on to anything long enough, it will eventually become cool. You know,
Yeah,
a lot of
yeah.
those guys, like you said, it was probably just their car. Like I said, that's why I have that Miller High Life bottle up there, and I'm never throwing it away because in 100 years, I don't care what happens, that will be cool.
Yes.
Just anything.
120 proof.
A pen. I could just put this somewhere, and then in 100 years, some guy will be like, "Whoa, dude, it's a 100-year-old pen. Fairways at Towson. Whoa." And it's like, dude, that apartment building sucked.
I mean, that is like on LFTS, we had Evan Woodard on, the salvage art guy.
Yeah.
And he's literally just digging through old porta potties and
Yeah.
finding
yeah.
like, you know,
Latrines,
just
yeah.
like trash from back then, but now it's treasure, you know?
It's awesome.
Yes.
It is cool.
You
It's a
guys
great-
should make a time capsule and bury it here.
Just a bunch of
Yeah, hell yeah.
incense and
Yeah. A lighter.
yeah.
And then I lose all of mine, and I have to dig up the time capsule after 3 months. No fucking lighter.
I mean, that's pretty much what witchcraft is. It's just kind of like making like a little time capsule, at least in the stuff that like I've done.
I've never
Like,
thought
you
of
just,
witchcraft like that. I
Yeah,
thought it
yeah.
involved a cauldron. But witches don't use cauldrons anymore.
It involves pot.
You guys
I
fell
mean,
off.
cauldrons aren't as cheap as they used to be either.
Yes, yeah. That's,
Inflation has destroyed the
Inflation
occult.
has affected many industries, inclung witchcraft.
yeah.
Just like the genie rides around on like a modern lamp, the witch rides around on like a vacuum now.
yeah, right.
modernization.
Hell
Way
yeah.
less cool.
Yeah, I still can't afford a Roomba though, unfortunately.
I think Roombas have. I think it's safe to say that idea just never panned out because that came out like 20 years ago, and everybody was like, "This is it. I'll never have to clean my apartment again." And then,
I mean, I think a lot of people use them, and the main thing that's a problem with them now is that they are. Like, I think recently Roomba got acquired by Amazon, and a lot of people were really concerned about that because Roombas actually like kind of make a full map of the interior of your home, and that's how they like know how to go around stuff. And they were like, it's not good for people's privacy that Amazon, which already has issues.
Jeff Bezos is just downloading your feet pics.
Yeah.
Alexa, cancel that Roomba order. I don't want something listening to me.
Exactly. It's just like an extreme continuation of like the level of surveillance that private companies have the ability to do. Yeah.
I don't want Amazon knowing how dirty my carpet is.
Because then they'll sell me more stuff.
Yeah, then they'll know what to sell you.
Yeah. That is like a
recommended fucking carpet cleaners and steam vacs and shit.
That's a scary threat. They're like, if they find everything about you, they're going to know exactly what you want to buy. And you're like, oh no. Please don't target an ad with exactly what I want.
Don't make my life better.
Don't make it more convenient. Anything but convenience.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just glad that like, somebody's
No.
listening or somebody's watching. I'm just grateful. I always say like, "What's up?" to like the Secret Service dude or whatever. I'm just like,
Well, I didn't realize that Roombas were used by anybody. That's news to me. I've never seen somebody use one.
Yeah.
We just adopt diabetic dogs that eat our trash, like in my family. That's like
that works.
That's all natural Roomba.
What do you need?
Oh, do you need an ashtray?
Oh yeah, that ashtray right on the table next to you, Jay.
I would think like Roomba would work better if it was square and it could get like right up into corners.
Ah, right.
Seems inefficient.
Strange.
Okay, this is a question. Yes, I want to ask you. Okay. Are you familiar with the theory about the Saturn, the black cube matrix of Saturn?
No, I've never heard of
I
that.
am familiar, yes.
Yeah, I feel like Jordan you're into a little bit more space stuff.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I call him Mr. Spacely.
Yes.
I mean, you've got other interests too, but I feel like I would say if I were characterizing like the domains that we are both interested in, you're more into more space stuff than I am into. You know, I'm into more like ancient history, but I think you like
what
that
if they're
too,
the same
but I think
thing?
you're like to see like the overlaps between them.
You're more into like cubular stuff, like square Roombas and this black square. And you like round Roombas and the moon, and Galileo, flipping people off before anybody knew what it meant. He was like, "Fuck you! Trust me, this will piss you off in 300 years."
Your grandkids are gonna love it.
You guys are ready for this, but your kids are gonna love it. Remember that new jester you've been looking for? Well, look at this.
But yeah, I'm curious just because it's, again, I think that like Liz has like a very balanced view as far as a person that's into metaphysical things, but
Jordan, you're out of control.
Yeah, but
Jordan,
but Jordan, like, what do you know about like
yourself.
the black cube, like of?
Well, I know that there's a thing called the Kaaba in Mecca. It's a big black cube, but apparently it's not actually perfectly a cube, I have heard. But it is a big black square thing that is a very important site.
Okay.
So that's cubular.
It suddenly becomes less important when it's not a perfect cube, doesn't it seem like it?
Yeah.
You find out like it's centimeter off, you're like, it's just a fucking
aliens
block.
didn't do this.
The aliens would have never fucked this up that bad.
Yeah. It's very old in defense of the
pyramids.
Kaaba. It's very old.
But apparently like it's in like the eye of Saturn or something like that, and like a very religious Jewish people, very religious Muslim people, like the dark Saturn imagery is apparently in our pop culture, everything from like Star Wars, the dark side of the Force, and it basically it's like a cube in Saturn that like wants you to worship it.
Yeah, it's like it's at the top of it on the North Pole. For some reason, it makes an octagular kind of thing.
Octagonal? Octagonal.
You've been saying all these cubular and stuff.
Yeah. I call it
Makes a tubular shape. Which I think personally is bogus.
Yeah. and again, it's just kind of like interesting to me where it's like, is it kind of like a forced thing in our society, or that's like forcing like worship of it, like the black cube? I don't know. I probably need to like pull up this information like before I go
They
to
did a lot of
about,
shit like the pyramids in Egypt are on like the perfect like latitudinal line or something weird, and they like line up with the ones in ley lines, and they line up with the ones in like ancient Maya or something like that, where like something where the Mayans built something where like something. Even when I slowed down the word, I still sounded white trash. They built something.
No, that's what I love. Like that's like the most reliable like channels of the information are like it comes from like
and like the shadow gets cast at like a perfect thing. I kind of regret, I mean, I regret killing all the Mayans. I think that was a bad move.
They're not dead. Like people of Mayan ancestry are still.
Well, yeah, it's called Mexicans. Literally, I mean, like if you go to like people
in Guatemala, like that's.
I wonder what they would have looked like. It's like, well, Spanish people don't look like that. What do you think they are? They're fucking Mayans.
Yeah.
They're Aztecs. That's what they looked like back then.
Right.
They just speak Spanish. It doesn't make you a new race.
Right. I'm
not British all of a sudden because I'm speaking English.
Yeah.
I did watch a video recently. There's this guy called Baltimore Fats.
Nice.
Who works at Protean Books, and he has a YouTube channel getting into weird aspects of history and stuff like that.
Hell yeah.
And he supposedly he drew a line on Google Earth going from Fort McHenry, like from the center out one of the points, and it points straight to the Kaaba.
Oh shit!
And Fort McHenry is kind of an interesting shape too, because it's kind of like in a star shape.
Yeah.
Yes.
Weird.
Yeah, some people think it's like geomancy, like putting things at nodal points to kind of like create an energy flow throughout the grid of the Earth.
The ley line. Can somebody explain ley lines?
Yes, I'll let somebody else like explain the words, but yeah, I grok it. I grok a lot of information, but I'm not the best filtered.
I mean, the first way that I was exposed to ley lines was from a movie called Dragon World 2.
Fuck yeah!
And that does star a young Drake Bell.
Oh, great.
As well as a large, just guy in a dragon suit that does not move well. And in the beginning of the film, the grandfather is like, it's the ley lines, and they've got the energy, and then he sticks his staff into them, and he gets electrocuted. So this is a lot for Drake Bell to deal with.
Oh, yeah.
But then the dragons start coming out because there's a dragon symmetry. So anyway, basically, my understanding of ley lines is that the Earth has an energy field. I think people would explain it in different ways. There's this idea that, like, the way that you've got latitude and longitude, there's also lines of energy that may or may not be related to the Earth's gravitational field, the electromagnetic field. There's a lot of different theories, but just that there's like, again, kind of like what Jordan was just saying, these lines that connect important sites that if you are working with the energy of the area, that would increase your ability to draw from this mystical power.
You stumbled upon something there when you said magnetic field, and it's giving.
I stumbled upon it.
It's
stumbled upon the words that you intentionally chose to say that actually, had an idea that I think was worth listening to, and I'm going to repeat what I think you just said to you right now.
Exactly.
Go ahead,
precisely.
Jimmy.
All right. So, magnetic field. When I think of when there was that old experiment when you're in elementary school and you put like a magnet under the paper and then you drop a bunch of like iron flakes on the thing, and then it like forms this.
You draw a guy with a face like mustache, and you can change it around.
Yes, exactly. I wonder if that is what the ley lines are like, because there's clear lines of like the magnetic field that you can follow, and maybe the ley lines are the magnetic field of the Earth.
And another thing too about like just thinking about magnetic fields and polarity in general is that we also learned in school that the poles of the Earth are not static, right? Like they have and do continue to shift. So what we are calling north is also slightly moving at all times, and then eventually they will have to fully flip again. And that'll really fuck up a bunch
That's
of
going to
shit.
be a bummer.
A lot of compasses are gonna go bad.
Yeah, Australia's going to be like, what's it like now, bitch? Fuck you, dude. Now you're
your
upside
toilet
down.
flushes the opposite way.
Fucking dicks.
Now we're the top side, eh?
How's it going down there?
Yeah, I think we would now have the accents, actually. God damn it.
Side note, I met Drake Bell in in 8th grade.
I was gonna say it had to be when you were young, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's right now. We met him at the Columbia Mall. They were doing a book signing for Degrassi, and my friends and I bought a pair of granny panties, and we all signed it. And the line was too long, so we just threw the granny panties on his face.
Was he on Degrassi?
Yeah.
Was he?
It wasn't Drake. No, wait, not Drake Bell.
You're
I'm
talking
thinking
about
about Drake.
Drake the rapper.
Oh my gosh.
A little bit different, but that's crazier.
The underage joke
Bell is
still
from
works.
Drake and Josh.
Okay, yeah.
But,
I'm probably too old for Drake and Josh. Yeah, but I never mind.
Amazing.
I mean, still
Yeah.
big
Incredible.
that you threw panties on Drake.
Fuck
Honestly,
fuck
that's
yes.
actually like more exciting because Drake Bell is mostly disgraced. At
Yeah.
this
Yes. Oh, right. Yeah. Drake has more clout.
He only performs in Mexico anymore.
Yeah, I mean he's very popular on like Latin American radio.
On the ley lines.
On the ley lines.
His name is Drake, and then whatever the Spanish word for bell is.
Campayo or something. Drake Campano.
Campagna.
Yeah, Campano.
Yeah, I mean, he slid into the DMs of the Stranger Things girl, but that was like the weirdest thing.
Yeah,
Drake
now you're talking
has
about
done.
Drake the rapper.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's hard to keep up with these
there's maybe
Drakes
some other stuff, but yeah.
and their nefarious activities. It's funny because when you tell a story about Drake, you don't know who to pin it on.
Yeah,
You know, you're
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
which one of them slid into an underage girl's DMs?
And
Hard
then
to
you go
keep track of this.
both,
Yeah.
then it makes it more confusing.
Oh,
Yeah.
But yeah, ley lines. Do you think ley lines exist in Baltimore?
I think we got a few.
And yeah.
Yeah, I haven't checked the map. Like, I don't know if Google Maps has that function.
Yeah.
The filters that you can look at.
I haven't picked up a tuning stick in a while. so,
Yeah. Maybe we could just
Fine.
drop a bunch of iron flakes from
Yeah.
like a building and just see where they go. There's a ley line.
But we were at Druid Lake recently, me and Sam.
Yeah,
That kind of feels like you're like at a nodal point where there's that Moorish tower.
There's a fucking wizard's tower
they're
right in the
fucking
middle of
druids,
Druid Hill
dude.
Park.
Yeah.
Think about it. Druid's a pretty, I don't know what it means, but it sounds,
Yeah.
you know?
My favorite description of Druid still comes from Eddie Izzard's comedy special, that's like my favorite comedy special of all time. It's Dressed to Kill, and he was just saying they were the first cross-dressers
I guess so, yeah.
and that they were just they're like, let's put a bunch of fucking rocks here. And
Again, another great example of if you just do something a long time ago, it's cool. Now we have
Yeah.
all these like piles of rocks that now we're like, dude, this had to be something amazing. And they're just like, I just put rocks there, man. I literally just piled rocks.
Right. But that is apparently like on a ley line though, Salisbury Hill or wherever Stonehenge is. Like I can't recall. I've never been. I've astral projected, but
Yeah.
I've never physically been.
There are these things called dolmens. Have you guys heard of that?
No.
It's like two rocks and then a thing on top, kind of like a little house made of stones. But there'll be really huge ones like in Ireland and stuff like that. But there's some that people discover in the United States where it's like in a national park and you got to go off the beaten path. There's like these huge like boulders and then a thing on top, which you know, people argue about whether it was man-made or maybe it was naturally formed.
Yeah, in Baltimore, it's just places where people do drugs at.
Yeah. Well, Stonehenge, that's like man-made, right?
Yep.
Do we know that?
They did fix it after a while. It was kind of in shambles a little bit, and then they fixed it.
Yeah. The aliens didn't do it because I thought the jury was still out.
Yeah. I feel like even with the pyramids, they're like really confused as to how that worked, you know?
Yeah, apparently it was.
I think they know.
Do they know?
Yeah.
They like
They rolled them on big logs.
Oh yeah.
They rolled all the stones up on
Boring.
I think they dammed the Nile and then they used like all the water in the construction site because the stones for the pyramids were porous. So that's how they use the water as the top level to shape all the stones, and then they're able to move them into place and then unflood
It
the
did
construction
come from
sites.
miles away, right?
shit.
Like the rocks. Didn't they move them? from-
Niles away.
But that's,
bro.
you know, miles away. They just floated them down
That's what
the
I'm calling
river.
this episode. Hell yeah.
Okay.
Because
So it sounds like we
wasn't
do.
really a desert back then, you know? They had like the Nile run through.
Well,
and,
all the people lived by the Nile. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just need you guys to like explain things to me. Because I dropped out.
Apparently I do too.
And like,
Pyramids, you know?
I mean, that's still just a theory. That's not a confirmed thing.
Like, until they find people like actually just drawing out and labeling. Here's exactly what I did.
Well, the Egyptians did
Like,
that for
they didn't
everything.
have
though.
YouTube videos
It's hard
back then
to-
of
They didn't have the
vlogs.
tutorials.
But they did always like
Build a
draw a
pyramid
bunch of
with me.
shit on rocks.
yeah.
Like we know.
And most of what we know about Egypt and most of what we know about a decent number of ancient civilizations is just from like what has been discovered and mostly left behind in graves. Because those are the places that have stayed protected. So for a lot of what we know about Egypt, there was some stuff where it was like after the Roman Empire took over Egypt, there was still like more writing about things and that kind of stuff. But like until like the 1820s, no one could read hieroglyphics either too. So a lot of people were just making shit up about Egypt for a really, really long time.
Yeah.
Until they could finally like translate.
And I feel like hieroglyphics would be the easiest language to kind of read because they literally were just like, weren't they just kind of like pictures of shit?
Yeah, it was like emojis. Ancient.
A
Yeah, you
little
couldn't read
bit.
emojis. It was wingdings.
But it was also like some of them were, you know, words, and some of them were sounds that were put together to make a word. So if you needed to understand what does that word mean, you'd have to kind of understand how to interpret those.
Another thing
well.
people don't really like talking about is people just weren't as good at drawing back then, dude. You look at a cave drawing and you're just like, why? Like nobody? This is the best you can do?
First of all, they look pretty good, actually. I would
Really?
Look at look at the Lascaux cave paintings.
Lisco, how do you spell that?
L-A-L.
L-A-S.
Well, they were the French cavemen.
Yeah,
It's a whole different thing.
L-A-S-C-A-U-X.
I'm gonna see if my Obama phone can pick up the.
They look cool. They look good.
Are they good? But like, because I feel like I'm a pretty shitty drawer, and I'm gonna pull this up.
Yeah, go check it out
Yeah, I
and
think
see what you think
you're
about
maybe
that.
just imagining that it's stick figures and stuff. When you imagine cave drawings, you're like,
look
oh,
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I have a very negative view of cavemen, just in general. So I admit if I'm a little biased towards not appreciating their artistic skills, but I don't want to piss any cavemen off. So let's give them their due. How do you spell Lascaux?
L-A-S.
L-A-S.
C-A-U-X, I think.
Oh yeah, it's French, so you got to have at least 12
Yeah.
silent letters.
I know. I feel like I'm on a spelling bee.
Okay. Use it in a sentence.
Yes.
The
I've been wanting to
Lascaux
do an actual
cave drawings are actually pretty cool.
Okay. So
let's go.
let's go.
Oh
This
shit.
is. How do I get this thing out of here? Get out of here. Leave.
Can you go full screen on the compute?
Oh yeah.
Whoa.
All right. So, all right. This is pretty good. I'm not gonna lie.
There's like depth. There's like different colors happening. There's a lot of different
Whoa.
things going on in the size hierarchy.
That's lit.
There are a lot
Hell
of
yeah.
details. and
However-
it's
Wow.
pretty cool.
I feel like I could do this though.
And
And when I
fine,
look at
too.
like when I
I'm
look at
just
like
saying to characterize it as being like, you know, no one knows
This
how
one's
to
pretty
do
good.
anything.
It was from
Yeah.
memory too. They had to go
Right.
out
Wow.
and like remember the animals they saw.
Yeah. They didn't have a photo reference.
And see, this was like one of the first instances of basically like chaos magic, or drawing a sigil on a cave and attempting to manifesting your desire or what you're seeking. Like at least from what I've heard on Grant Morrison, and he did comic books. He's like, I don't. But yeah, that's fucking awesome.
okay. What year was this made?
I think it's Neil.
It was one or two, I think.
One or two? Okay.
No. I think this is like,
One or two.
I want to say it's 10,000 years old.
Hell yeah. And isn't that beautiful? Also, just that we can
But
pull
let
up
me
an
look it
image
up.
of something 10,000 years old and marvel at it now.
It
That's
is. It is really
immortality.
cool.
The artist, whoever did that, is able to live on through that.
Mm-hmm.
Just like we're going to live on through our podcast.
And they really did just love, like, just they were I feel like a lot of the art back then was like just naturalism. You know, they really
Yeah.
liked like bragging about their hunting. You know, I actually watched. Believe it or not, I watched something, and it was on YouTube, and it was this documentary kind of about this like modern day hunter gatherer tribe in some country in like place it was either the Amazon or in Africa, I can't remember, but it was like they were like asking him these questions, like what's the most important thing in life, and you're like kind of expecting them to like have these like deeply profound, like outside of the gilded cage of society philosophies on life, and they were just like meat. And then you're like, okay, what's your biggest fear? And he was like, lions. And they were like, so what do the moon and the stars and the sun and the sky mean? And he was like, nothing. And I'm like, this is either very profound or just a big W for modern society.
Wow.
You know?
Wow.
Okay. I was tuned out because I was looking up how old the Lesko cave paintings
The Lescos?
The Lescos are actually 17,000
Oh,
years
shit.
old.
What?
Yeah, so even older than I thought. And then I tuned back in, and Jimmy, I don't know what you're talking about, but don't sound right. Of being like trying to dunk on like tribes in other places.
They're not going to hear it.
I mean, sure, but it's also like, yeah, people live different ways, different
He's
places.
got bigger problems. He's got lions.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't care about some guy making fun of him on a microphone
Yeah.
in a garage.
The kind of counter to that is, have you guys heard of the Dogon tribe from Africa?
Yes.
Wait, were they the ones that like suck? Never mind.
No.
Are they the ones that suck?
No.
I meant they were
No,
into,
that
like,
was the
some
tribe I was
ritual
talking
thing.
about.
No. I
No,
meant they were
it's
into some
ones-
pedo shit or something. Okay. Sorry.
You're thinking of
That's a
moils.
completely
Yeah,
different area.
You can explain your understanding
go
of
ahead.
it. No, mine's more gonna be more out there. I feel like. Than
Fuck yeah, bring
whatever,
it.
Oh,
how you
just
understand
of
it.
being like the Dogon people of Africa had highly advanced astronomy skills, and so were just really good at doing astronomy work. And then there are some theories that there were like people who came over to the Americas and started doing some of science in America were also related. Like I think I've heard that about Benjamin Banneker potentially, who was the black man who surveyed DC and like helped to plan the city, and then also was one of the first people to record cicadas. So like that came up recently.
Whoa.
The brood around.
What about the Octagon people
Anyway,
on Saturn?
so what you were going to say, you could go ahead with what you were
So you're
saying
saying
That's
he might
all
have.
I have.
He
That's
might
what
have had
I've
a
heard
connection
is
with
that
them.
he had,
Thank you for
like,
teaching me who
Dogon
Benjamin
ancestry.
Banneker is.
Yeah.
It's like,
I thought all he ever did was just age in reverse. I never realized didn't realize he discovered it too.
Yeah, there's a museum about Benjamin Banneker around here in Ellicott City.
oh yeah. And I'm from that area, so I should really fucking know.
But yeah, my understanding of the Dogon, at least not total. Okay, I'll try to take out the alien aspect of it, but
Okay,
just
okay.
like the way I understood the story is that they have this information about astronomy and stuff. Like they know about Sirius A and Sirius B, which are stars out there, where one of them
My
is
dogs.
is a dark star or like a moon or something. Oh yeah, I guess it's like a planet that revolves around Sirius A, but that's dark to us. We can't see it with the naked eye. So like these British people or whatever went over there and were studying these people, and they had passed down this information for generations. But as far as I understood it, somehow they got this information originally, and the priest class of this tribe, or maybe the whole tribe, was like a kind of priesthood or something like that.
That's fucking awesome.
Passed
Hell
that
yeah.
down. But it was before we actually discovered Sirius B with telescopes in the 70s. They had said
Wow.
there's this thing that goes around this planet and stuff like that. A bunch of like this information that they supposedly passed down and have kept alive for generations. But the story is maybe they got that from aliens, which apparently there was a story that they talked to some half dolphin creatures that came up out of the water and gave
Yeah.
them that information.
Whoa.
Called the Nomu people or something
Dude,
like that.
my girlfriend had a dream that she met these like dolphin apes.
What?
And I'm
fucking
wondering
awesome.
if that is in any way related to this.
Are you serious?
Well, she did. She told me about
Wait,
it. She-
serious? Haha. Sorry. That's fucking awesome. Yeah.
Oh, no, you're good.
No.
That was a good joke.
Yeah.
I would say that's a very significant thing to bring up in this conversation.
Yeah.
right now.
I would say it really adds a lot.
What do they look like?
I don't know.
Yeah, we need to find out. Did they have dolphin heads
didn't
and 8
listen.
bodies, or did they have like, or were
You
they
didn't
more like
have her
mermaid
draw a
style?
picture?
Like, yeah.
Be like, tell me more, babe. I want to see through your eyes. What happened? Draw me a picture. Paint a picture for me.
Yeah.
Did they have a dorsal fin?
Weird
or
cave painting. I would imagine I'm just guessing now, but if they're gonna be dolphin apes,
I have no idea.
maybe I'm imagining like a gorilla mermaid of some sort.
Yes.
Okay.
Or maybe like, because the
I'm
reverse
just
of that would be
curious if
stupid.
they were like they had arms, or if they were
That's-
like dolphin through and through with just the head of a chimpanzee or a gorilla.
That is a big question.
That's crazy.
Because if they don't have arms, then that explains why they need to explain to us things. They're like, can you draw this? Just draw what I'm saying, dude. I don't have arms.
Yeah. But okay, but see, that's the part is just like coming from, I guess, white privilege. Sorry to go back and it's this like
We never had dolphin apes.
we never, damn it, somewhere in some.
Yeah.
But is it offensive to be like, did these ancient people acquire this knowledge of the stars from literal gods or aliens having to relay that to them, or were they intelligent or wise enough to come up with their own system? Is it kind of like offensive to say that they had to acquire it from an outside source?
I mean, I think so.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
No, don't
No, it's okay.
apologize.
It's
Don't
just
that's the part where
like-
I go back and forth between as like a person.
And I
who-
think Mike Moran has a joke about that too, of just being just white people being like, there's no way that anyone else could have figured anything out. So aliens probably.
Right.
And I think that it's not necessary. I don't know. That's again some of my hangups with the alien stuff where I'm like, all right, like,
yeah.
But especially for ancient stuff, it's like, okay, maybe people just figured out different ways to figure things out. Like,
yeah.
I
I think
think
it's
it
aliens, but I think we are aliens.
Yeah. All that aside, probably aliens. And
but I think that we're like half chimpanzee, half alien, but
all right.
Half dolphin, half ape.
yes.
that's why sapien, half ape, half alien. Sapien.
But again, again, it's just fun to talk about. Like, and I'm so glad that you give me like like you said, like about the ghost hunting shows where it's just like, like 9 seasons.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the fool's journey. It's
but
a journey.
some pretty interesting things encountered along the way that we can't explain.
Yeah.
So.
I did not bring my tarot cards with me. I didn't know if we should like how to wrap it up. Should we wrap things up with like
Try a regular deck of cards.
Oh, I'm really bad at like do you have like it memorized like because I usually go off the pictures because I'm a
I mean, I don't have it memorized,
but it's like
I could help.
Okay,
we
sweet,
can
sweet.
Figure out the.
These are not my cards. I do not feel
suits.
positive about putting my energy on them.
You're fine.
Okay.
You can put your energy on 'em.
Cool. Did anybody have like a specific like question or anything or like or just a general energy reading?
Just make sure you command Z that energy when you're done with those cards.
Command
I don't
Z.
want that shit coming on. Fucking. Come on.
No. I'll cleanse it. Don't worry. Yeah, this is positive. Oh, these are easier to shuffle than.
Yeah, because there's fewer cards.
Yeah.
So it's basically just the minor arcana.
Sweet. Okay. We're not gonna get Jeffrey Epstein with the minor arcana.
Yeah,
here.
that's not.
All right. Well, you did a really solid like reading on the podcast, Liz, where you're like past, present, future.
Yeah.
Maybe for like the day to day, since it's just like the 52, it's like a good thing.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna ask for myself. I thought I was going to go to school. That didn't work out. I have no idea what the next 6 months lays ahead. So I'd just like to get some insight into that. All right. For archangels, you're here, bros. I don't need to
Get in here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, all right. First card, past. The 8 of what is the good luck charm?
The 8 of
thingies?
clubs.
The 8 of clubs. Okay.
So the corresponding tarot suit is wands. for
Oh,
clubs.
okay.
So
That's
8
interesting.
of
Blondes, you said?
Yeah.
8 of wands.
Wands. Okay.
Wands.
8 of blondes.
What is that? Is I know 8 is usually a number representing infinity. Is it like?
Ooh,
is
true.
It,
Yeah,
is it
turn that
positive
card
or-
sideways.
Yeah.
There we, no, just turn it
Oh,
sideways.
sideways.
So it's
Okay,
infinity now. Awesome.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
The infinity of wands.
Nice. Okay.
So what does that mean?
Yeah. I
Do we
always
have to go through
look
all
at, like,
3 before we
images. Oh yeah.
I don't know. I'm asking.
The middle one is I got another. Wait, no. What is this one for?
A five of
That one's
spades.
swords.
Five of swords.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. Sword energy, and I, even though I am technically an air sign, I never do well with the sword cards. And then the King of Hearts.
Nice.
Which is like cups. I would say that this is a fairly positive overall.
Sweet.
So 8 of
I'm going to meet an alcoholic.
8 of Wands is one that's like, if you're imagining like a Rider-Waite-Smith deck, it's like 8 sticks kind of like flying downwards. So it's like things coming at you really fast.
Yeah.
And like just a lot of really like quick things.
My
like,
own fucking ideas.
You don't even have like time to rest, basically. It's just like everything's coming at you fast.
Yeah.
Wands is sometimes about like things related to job or skills or like your calling as well.
Yes, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And so then 5 of Swords, it's not really one that you want to see.
Is that the one where you're like laying in bed and like the knives are like coming down?
No. Yeah, it's it's one where it's like where 5 people have swords and they're like fighting. So like 5s are kind of conflict cards.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
That's the present.
5s are kind of conflict cards. They're people fighting. It's just like a lot of like interpersonal issues. And then King of Cups is like a very positive sign. Cups are a very like positive, loving, creative suit of cards. And
it's having your own cup fulfilled in order to bear a cup for other people, but you cannot bear a cup for other people unless your own cup is like.
It's like the mask in the airplane. Like you have to secure your own mask.
Right.
Yes,
that's true.
Except we're looking at it like autism masking for me.
But so for a king, that's like a leadership energy. It's also like a masculine energy, which I kind of feel like you're getting into a little bit with more of your like sun interest as well. Is like so like coming from like a position of power.
I'm ready to let my dick swing, baby.
Hell,
well, actually,
pissing in a cup.
Pissing in a cup.
Yeah, this was beautiful. Thank you. Like, you were a really good tarot reader, and you're like a type of person that I think should be like paid for it as not like a scam. Like, you have really good like insight into it. Like,
If you want to send her a Venmo request.
No, that one's free. That one's on the house.
Would anybody else like reading a card pool or anything? Or
I took that as I took that for all of us. I thought that was for the room.
Yes, the law of all, the law of one. Fuck yeah.
Yes, I like that.
Any last manifestations? You got the just make sure to have your cup full, people.
Yeah.
And then
fill her up.
Yeah.
Fill her up.
Yeah, this is a bit InfoWarlocks. I'm Sam Kelly, and you are all beautiful people. We got Liz, we got Eric, we got Jordan, and we got Jimmy. There's a war on for your magic. It's spiritual warfare. Whoop whoop.